Let me search. For line. Okay, so this is the data I have. So what is the data I have? I have the products and I have the sales. Okay, let's say A100, B150, E300, F350. This is the data I have, and I have saved it as a live test in the form of notepad. Okay, so I'll just connect this data source to my Tableau. So let me open my Tableau. So my file is text file. So this is live. Okay, so see, this is the information I have. Okay, so I have C50, B30, and D100. So this is the data I have which is connected. So before going to here, so let me explain you. One second. So let me open this. Yeah. Okay, so for example, you have the data source here. So this is the data source. Okay, and you are connecting to the Tableau. So this is the Tableau. Okay, and what kind of connection you are making? You are making the live connection here. So when you connect as a live connection to the Tableau and the data source, what happens? It will create a live communication path between the Tableau and the data source. It will create a live communication path between the Tableau and the data source. What does that mean is, let's say today in your data source you are having maybe let's say some 100 records. Okay, so your data source is having 100 records, and tomorrow what happens? Another 50 records have been added. Okay, so when you connected, Tableau is connected all 100 records here. Okay, and tomorrow another 50 records have added, like 50 records have been come into your data source, and since you have the live communication path, what happens? All those 50 will get added here automatically. Okay, so 100 already is there, plus newly added 50. And what happens? Maybe after a week, another 150 records have added. Okay, so what happens? Since you have the live communication, so you will get it, those 150 into Tableau automatically. So what is the understanding here is, so when you have connected to the live communication, whatever the changes happens to the data source will get reflected immediately in your Tableau, because it is created a live communication path. And similarly, if there are like 100 records have been removed from your data source, maybe outdated or not valid, so some 100 records have been removed. So what happens? Even they get removed from your Tableau also, like -100 it will die, because it is a live communication path. Okay, so let's see it. So actually this is live test is what I have saved, but what I have connected is live, so this is not the one. So let me close this database and let me connect to that file. So what was the file? It is in downloads and it is with live test here. So this is the one. Okay, so I have connected it. So what is the records it is having? So you can see, yeah, so see here, so products and sales. Products are A, B, E, F, and the sales are 100, 150, 300, 350, right? So this is the data we have connected. So let me go to sheet 1. Here I'll just view. So this button is called view data. Okay, so here you just click it, so it will show you that. So the number of records is created by automatically Tableau. We'll see that in later, why it has been created and where do we use it. But for now, just look at the data, what is there. So the products we have is A, B, E, F, and the sales is 100, 150, 300, 350. Okay, so let me close it now and let me go to my data. So here I will add C 200, okay, and D 250. What are the two records I have added? I have added C 200, D 250. So since I have connected, okay, I'll show you how to connect the live. Okay, so I'm just saving this, so just save it and minimize. So go to the data source button. So here you have the option. By default, Tableau will connect live connection. Okay, if you are not choosing any connection, it will automatically connects to the live connection. If you want to change it to extract, you have to choose it. We'll see that in the coming class. Okay, so for now I have connected live connection. So now I have added two records to my data, that is C200, D250. So now if I see the view data, say A, B, E, F. So C and D are not yet added here, right? So I need to just refresh the data. How to refresh? On the database. So this is the data source, right? So live test, whatever that we have connected. So right click there. You have an option called refresh. Just click on the refresh. Now the refresh has happened. Now you view the data. See, AB, C 200, D 250 is added here, and EF. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So what is my data sources? See, A, B, C, D, E, F. Right. So whatever the latest changes I have added, those are visible here. Let's say I will add again another two records, maybe P 500, Q 700. Okay, so I have added another two records, P and Q. So let me save it. So I have saved it. Now I'll go to my Tableau. So here, since it is showing A, B, C, D, E, F, and the new records have not been added, I have to refresh them. So how to refresh? Just right click on the data source and select the refresh button. Now the refresh is happened. So just view the data now. See, P and Q are added. A, B, C, D, E, F, P, Q. So what does that mean overall here is, so if you are connecting the live connection, whatever the changes happen to your database or data source will get refreshed in the Tableau automatically, like by just clicking on one refresh. Correct? Understood this? So any doubts here?
No, no doubts.
Okay, clear. So next, this is how about even removing also, not only adding, so even removing. Let's remove A and B. Okay, so I have C, D, E, F, P, Q. I don't have A, B. Now I'm just saving the file. Now if I go to the Tableau, so still it is showing A, B, C, D. So what I'll do, I'll just refresh the view. So how to refresh? So right click on the data source, you will get refresh option. So select the refresh. Now the refresh is happened. If you view the data, see A, B is not there. C, D, E, F, P, Q. Right? So like this, all the changes from your data source will get updated automatically since you have connected to live communication, like live connection.
Here it's showing number of records as 1.
Yep,
By
that's what
default
I
it's
said. So that is being created by Tableau automatically. We'll see that. So Tableau will create some of the fields automatically for our analytics purpose. Okay.
okay.
So in the coming classes, we'll see why it is created and where do we use them.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's see the extract connection. How does extract connection works? So understood about live connection?
Yes.
Okay. So now this is extract connection. So you have the same data source. This is the data source and you are connected to Tableau here. This is Tableau and you are connected using extract connection. Okay, so extract connection. So in the extract connection, what Tableau does is it will not create any live communication path. Okay, so basically what it does is it will take the snapshot of the data. Okay, so when you are connecting it to Tableau, so whatever the data is available, it will take a snapshot. You know snapshot, right? So it will take the entire data what is available there. Okay, and what it does, it will save it in a temporary file. Okay, so it will create a temporary file. It will save it, the existing data, into that temporary table. Okay, and Tableau will connect to that particular. Okay, so it will connect to that particular temporary file, not to that data source directly. So what is the mechanism here? So when you try connecting the extract connection, Tableau will take the snapshot of that existing data source, whatever it is available. Let's say if you are having 1000 records, 10,000 records, 1 lakh records. So it will take all those records and it will save it in a temporary file. Okay, and that file will be connected to Tableau, not the direct data source. Okay, so here that temporary is called as, there should be a space, right? So you cannot save it in the air. So there should be some space. This space is called as Tableau data engine. Okay. So this space is known as Tableau data engine. And in this Tableau data engine, the Tableau is saving this file. It has to save it the file, right? It cannot directly, like on the air, it cannot create something, and because Tableau will not do any magic. Tableau is also, again, it's a tool which is used, right? So in the background, what happens? So it will save it in Tableau data engine in the form of .hyper format. Okay, so the file format, it will create it with hyper. Okay, so like this. So what it does, yeah, so in the extract connection, Tableau will take the snapshot of the data source and it will save it in a temporary file. This is temp file. Okay, and the temp file will be saved in Tableau data engine with the format of .hyper. Like for Excel, we save it like .xls, and for Notepad, we'll save it as .txt. For PDF files, we'll save it .pdf, right? Similarly, the file, whatever it is saving as a temporary, it gives the extension as .hyper. Okay, and here, if tomorrow, like let's say you have 100 data records here, okay, while connecting to the Tableau, and what happens, Tableau will take all those 100 records and save it in the temporary file with the .hyper format, right? So all 100 records, and it will get all 100 records here. Okay, tomorrow what happens, another 50 records will get added here. Okay, will that get refreshed here automatically?
I think no.
Yeah, because the small logic here, there is no live communication between these two data source and the connection. So even though your data is added, if the Tableau, you are not asking Tableau to take the new snapshot, till that it will be available only the 100 old records, and Tableau will have only those. So if you tell to Tableau take the new snapshot, what happens? Again it will take a new snapshot of this 150 records. Okay, and it will save it, it will replace this file with 150 records plus 50, whatever has been added. Okay, so it will remove this completely and it will again add a new temporary file here with whatever the records are available. So now it is 150. So with all 150, the other temporary file is created with the form of .hyper, and this 150 records temporary file will be created to Tableau. So it will have you 150 records. Okay, let's say tomorrow you have added another one record. Okay, only one record is added here. So what happens again? So your Tableau will not get that one record, right? So what happens? You have to tell Tableau again to take all the snapshot, and again it will save, it will remove this file, and again it will create a new temporary file in the form of .hyper. Right, so in the form of .hyper. So then what happens? So here you will have it 151 records. So 100 old records, 50 latest records, and one latestly added record. Right. So now this 151 file will get connected to the Tableau. Now you will have it 151 records. Okay. So what does that mean here? Every time when your database is getting refreshed or database is getting added new records or remove the existing records, what happens? Every time you need to take the snapshot and you need to save it in the temporary file. Like you, in the sense, you no need to do it manually. So Tableau will do this in the background. Okay, so let's see that. Yes.
So there is no any manual interaction required.
We'll see that. So we'll see the practical how to be seen for live. So let's see for extract also. Then you tell me if you have any doubts in that. Okay. So this is just theoretical, right? So let's implement this in the Tableau. Okay. So this is to understand the background mechanism. How does live connection works and how does extract connection works. Okay. So let's connect it. So I think I have a file. Let me open that file. So extract test. Okay, so this is the file. So I have products and I have profits. Okay, so products I have X, Y, Z and P. Profits I have 100, 150, 210. Okay, I have saved this with the name of extract test. So I'll connect it to the Tableau. See, you can connect multiple data sources at a time to the Tableau. Okay, so right now we have connected already live test. So let me connect it to the another. So this is the button. Okay, so to create the data sources, to add the data sources. So data source symbol plus. Okay, just click on this. So it will ask you to connect what. So again, that is a text file. So click on the text file. So what is the name? Extract. Okay, so extract test. So I'm connecting it to this. See, this is the data I have, correct? X, Y, Z and P. So X, Y, Z, P. 100, 150, 210, right? So this is the data. So let me go to the sheet. So now see, I'm using extract. So if you select the live, so it will change that. You can choose any of the data source, but now we are working on this extract. So let me go to the data source. So by default it is connected to live, correct? Now I will change this to extract connection. So how to do that? Simply select here extract. Okay, so here you can see the description. Import your data into Tableau's fast data engine. Extract is created when you click on the sheet tab. Okay, so this is the description of it. So for live connection, it will say connect directly to your data. The speed of your data source will determine the performance. So how much ever speed you have the database, so it will be that much fast. If your database is slow, even here your performance also will get slow. Okay, in the extract, what it is saying import your data into Tableau's data engine. Like as I said, it will take the snapshot and it will save it in the data engine, and that will save it when you click on the sheet tab. So now I have selected extract here. Now I'll go to the sheet. Okay, so just go to the sheet. See what happens. It is asking me to save that temporary file. So now the Tableau is taken that snapshot and it is asking me to save it in the hyper format. See, this is the hyper dot hyper, right? So let me save it with the same extract test. So click on save. I already have it, so it will ask to replace. I'll do that. Okay, so now I have saved it. See, now I'm just, if you see the connection, so it is connected extract now, not the live. So go to the sheet, and if you view the data, it will show X, Y, Z and P, 100, 150, 210. Now let me make some changes. So let me add Q 20, R 30. So I have added Q and R. Okay, so let me save this. Now I go to Tableau. I'm closing it. Now right click on this extract. So you have a refresh option. I'm just refreshing it. So I have refreshed. Okay, now if I view the data, see X, Y, Z, P, Q and R is not added, right? Because you are not taken the new data snapshot. So whatever the data was taken earlier, whatever the changes you make it, it will not update here. So even if you click refresh n number of times, your data shows the same thing. The newly added Q and R is not showing here. Okay, so how to get them? So is there a way to get them back? Yes, obviously there is a way. So what is that? You need to refresh the extract. That means you need to tell Tableau to take the snapshot again. Okay, so how to tell that? So right click on the extract. So here if you see, there is an option called extract, right? And there is a refresh option. That means you are telling Tableau to refresh the extract. Whatever you have extracted, refresh it. So when you click on the refresh, it will ask you the file to be replaced. Okay, so click on OK. Now, yes, the file is, the data source is refreshed. Now you view the data. See, Q and R 2030 has been added. Correct? So let me make other changes. So maybe I will remove X and Y. Okay. So I have only Z, P, Q, R, 4 records. So let me save it. Go to Tableau. So close it and refresh it. So if I directly do the data refresh, no changes will take place. So it is showing still X, Y, Z, P, Q, R. Right? Because I am just refreshing the data source, not the temporary file. So how to do that temporary file refresh? Like extract refresh. So go to the extract option here and do the refresh and click on yes. Now that is refreshed. Now you see the data. See, XY is not there. So ZPQR. Okay. So this is how the live connection and the data extract connection will work. And if you observe here, the symbols, sometimes in Tableau it is very important to understand the symbols. Okay, identification symbols. So live connection will have only a single drum like this, single database data source. Okay, but extract, it is having like this symbol, double databases, right? So if you see this symbol, that means this is extract connection. What is that saying? So you have a data source, right? And what is that saying? You are taken that as a snapshot like this, correct? So that is what that means. But if you see only one data source like this, that means this is live connection. So if you see the data like this, 2 drums, and it is showing that it has taken snapshot, then it is extract connection. Okay. And another observation you have to do it is, like, I'm removing the extract connection. So how to remove it? Just close the connection. Okay. Now I go to the data source for the live connection. So I'm in live connection. If I click on the live and if I go to the sheet, directly it is taking me to the sheet. There is no any interim process here, right? So from data source, I'm going easily to the sheet, right? But when I connect it as an extract connection, okay, so let me change this same connection to extract. Okay, so this live connection, live test file, I'll change it as extract connection. So when I do that extract connection, I cannot go back directly to the sheets like how I went earlier. So what happens? It will ask to save the temporary file, because when the extract, what happens? First it will take the snapshot of the data source. You can see that. So if I click on the sheet, see, it is asking me to save first, correct? So I have to save it and then I can go to the sheets easily. See. Once if you are saved, now you can come back easily. So the first time you need to save it, the temporary file, in the form of .hyper.
But
Okay.
what is the link? Why it is asking to save? Because we are using
Without saving, how the snapshot, because it is not magic, is what I said, right? So Tableau has a process to follow where whatever the extract is being taken, it cannot save it in the air, correct? It has to save it in its own folder. So when you install the Tableau, you can see some of the folders also got installed in your document file. So go to the document. So here, see, when you install the Tableau, it will install one folder called My Tableau repository. Okay, so this repository has so many folders like the data sources. So you are saying that you are connecting to sample superstore, correct? So how do you connect it? You cannot connect it in the air, right? So it is saved within this. So if you go to the data source, if you go to the 2019.4, go to this folder. So here, if you see sample superstore and the world indicator, correct? So these are the 2 data sources Tableau is given to you. That means they have not given it in the air. They have saved it in their repository folder. Okay, and even when you go to the maps, we'll see that in detail. So you have the maps. So how Tableau will create a map? So it cannot pull it from the Google, it cannot pull it from the air, right? So it has to have an inbuilt folder for it. So even shapes. So like this, we'll see all this in detail like when the topic comes. Similarly, so whatever the connections you are doing, so it has to save it for the usage, right? It cannot simply connect to the air like a graphics it will show, right? So it will just fetch into the air and it will pull the data and it will connect it. No, it has to save it in a temporary file within Tableau. Okay, so then only you can able to connect it. So that's the reason it will ask to save it, because Tableau is taking a snapshot. After taking the snapshot, what to do? Tableau doesn't know what to do. What you are saying, save that in your temporary file. You are doing that. So that's the reason it is asking to save it. First you save, then it will connect it automatically. Clear?
Yeah, so we must need to save in the Tableau folder, or we can save because it is
By
showing the
default,
option.
it will take it into the Tableau folder, but you can save it anywhere, whatever you
But
want. But
how?
as Tableau is having a repository folder, why do you want to save it as in your desktop or in your local drive? Because anyhow, there is a specific space is being allocated for it, right? Tableau repository. So by default, it will take you to that path. If you want to save it, save it. If you want to save it in your local machine, local D drive or C drive, you can do that, but no use of it, right? Because when all the Tableau related stuff has to be in the same place, so that next time you don't need to search each and every time, right? Here, there. So all the stuff related to Tableau will be saved in Tableau repository at one place. If you
So
want to make it mess and if you want to make it complicated, you can do that. It is 100% allowable. Okay, but not to make it complex, to make it simply, like you can just save it in the same repository folder. It will by default, it will navigate it to you there only. But forcefully, if you want to change it, you can do that. No problem.
but if by somehow the file is deleted, then will it
It
impact
will
in
not
the?
get deleted. If it is deleted, your Tableau will not work. You have to reinstall your Tableau.
No,
Why
no,
do
no. I'm
why?
not talking about the folder. I'm
Okay.
talking about the file with the snapshot which has been just to
Hmm.
try to know if the folder has been if this file has been deleted. Then will that
So
impact?
that also can happen even if you save it in the D drive, right? D
Okay.
drive is not a permanent place where you can have all the time, right? So even the accident can happen even in the D drive. What you will do in that time?
So
So
my
it's
question
not
is
like
that
deletion can happen only in the repository. Deletion can happen in any place.
no, it happens. So what I'm saying is like if there is no file, then it will
Hmm.
impact in the dashboard or in the worksheet or not. I believe yes, it will
See,
impact.
it will not affect anything there, because if you delete the file, what happens? It will ask you to resave the file. Unless you don't have the file, how it will connect? Because there is it will see what you are asking is, so 1 second. Okay, so what you are saying is, so this is the extract connection. So you are asking Tableau to take the snapshot, okay, and in the extract connection, and you are saving it in the temporary file here, and you are connecting it to the Tableau, right? What you are saying, if you remove this file, where Tableau will connect? Tableau will connect to the air like this. What data it will pull? You should have the temporary saved file. So if you removed it, if you delete it by maybe by accidentally, you can go to the recycle bin and restore that, right? So if you don't have even there, what you will tell, you will ask Tableau to take the snapshot again and save it as a new file. That's what I said, right? The refresh. So it will save it in the new file again, and it will at least connect to that. So without file, what data Tableau will pull? Tableau will pull no data, because it cannot simply connect into the blank space, right? There has to be some file, because you are doing extract connection. But in the live connection, you don't need. You are not saving any file here, right? So directly Tableau is connecting to the desktop, sorry, your data source. But extract connection, it is the process. The mechanism is it has to save it in a temporary file, and that temporary file has to get connect. If you remove it by default or accidentally or intentionally, what you'll do, Tableau cannot fetch any data in the extract connection. Okay, so either you have to retry back the folder or you have to create a new extract file, or that means new snapshot.
Okay. So here,
Okay.
if the scenario is like this, I created the dashboard or some and visualization based on the extract connection, and then afterward everything is good. I shared it I shared in the server or whatever to the user, and afterward, like just to know, I deleted this path, this fold file, which has been saved in the Tableau repository. So after that, immediately it will, when I try to open that same dashboard, it will not be going to show me the details here because it is not able to find the
That's
same.
right. So you are done, you have taken the snapshot of this, you have saved it, you have created a visualizations and you have published them. Okay, successfully. And after that, what you are doing, you are removing this file. So what happens here? So when you remove this file, then Tableau connection will be blank, right? It is not having any connection. So it will not fetch any data. So your dashboards will be blank.
Okay, but already the dashboard has been shared in the server or whatever.
What is Tableau saved? It is nothing but whatever you have it in your desktop. Okay, so your desktop is having some visualization like this. Okay, and this visualization you are publishing it into server. You are not saving anything. You are just posting there in the server. So what happens here? So you are posting it in the server, and this visualization, how did it come? It comes through the file that you have saved the extraction. Okay, so when you remove this file, your desktop view will go off. When your desktop view will go, your server also will, because these all are replications, right? These are not a separate files, separate saved files. These all are replications. So even if you remove your data source, even this temporary file goes, like how it is. So from data source to temporary file, from temporary file to visualization you have created, from visualization to server. So if you break the link here, how can you expect your dashboard to be existing same? And how can your server will be having the same dashboard? Okay, so there should be a chain, right? So if you break the chain in between, then there won't be connectivity.
So it sounds like whenever we create any dashboard.
I just want to understand, why do people delete the file first?
No, I'm just trying to understand. I understand your
No,
concern.
that scenario will never come, because if you want to delete that, what is the process? You have to go to like you have to go to the PC, correct? This PC, and you have to go to the documents. In the documents, you have to go to Tableau repository, and you have to go to data sources. There you have to remove it. What does that mean? You are doing it intentionally, right?
Yep.
So if you are doing intentionally, then how do we expect Tableau to work the same? Because accident happens. What happens if you are saving that in your desktop? Okay, let's say maybe this Excel is that file. Okay, for example, and here accident can happen because it is only one click. So I have just clicked on delete, maybe mistakenly. So the Excel file is went off now. Correct? That can happen. But when you are navigating through the data Tableau repository, how do it can happen accidentally, unless it is happen intentionally? Correct?
Yep.
So that is the thing. So even if I delete it accidentally here, that whatever the Excel file was here, which I have removed accidentally, I can go to recycle bin and I can restore it back. Right? So see the Excel, I can restore it now. So that is restored. Now if I go to the desktop, see the Excel file has come. All right. So deletion accidentally cannot happen in the deep navigation. Only it can happen in the one click. That's the reason I said, why do you want to save it in your desktop, or why do you want to save it in some open place where the accident can happen? Let it be, there is a safest place given. Tableau repository, let it save there. Okay.
Okay. So whenever we are working the real-time project, so we will be having the customer system by getting the remote access, and that's the remote desktop that they will be installed Tableau, and we are virtually with the login credential we are going to use the remote desktop of the customer, and we're going to create a dashboard. Correct?
What is that remote? I don't understand.
So
So you will
you
get
are
your
working for
system from the
XYZ
company.
client. You are
Yeah,
working for
that's right.
XYZ client, so you are not able to travel to Singapore for that client. Yeah, so they will be giving you the system access. That's how you will be going to create the dashboard and all. You are not going to create in your desktop. Correct?
Correct. Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so in the future, if something happen in the system crash, in the remote system, or something happen in their drive where the folder has been saved, then whatever the development has been done using the extract, then all those will be vanished, or all those have the impact.
No,
Correct?
why do they will vanish there? Because see, your system, this all will be logging into your Tableau account, right? So you have been installed Tableau, you have been logged in, right?
Yes.
So that's the reason it will ask you while installing, it will ask you the email ID and all, right? So even whatever the crash happens, that means Tableau desktop also went off. It's not that one file deleted, right? So when you reinstall the Tableau and when you give your login existing email ID, so what happens? Whatever you have worked maybe in years ago will pull back into your Tableau repository. Like how your system, your mobile, right? So what happens to your mobile? So you save all your contacts to your Gmail account, right? You change hundreds of mobile. When you give your email ID, what happens? All your mobile contacts will get synced into your new mobile,
Got
correct?
it.
Similarly, so this Tableau account is created as per your email ID. So even system crash, system goes crap, let it go whatever it is. If you are taking new system and if you are installing the Tableau software again, like Tableau desktop, and while installing, if you are giving your email ID and login credentials properly, so what happens? Whatever the work you have done in previous will get pulled into your new system.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So that is how Tableau extract connection works.
What can be the interview question in this live and extract? And what are the
We'll
conditions
see, we'll
when?
see, we'll see, we'll see. We have not completed yet. Okay. So we are just seeing live connection how it works, extract connection how it works. So one second, someone is pinging me.
Sure.
So can you take the text? Okay. But later. Okay. Okay. So sorry. Okay. So this is how the live and extract connection works. And if you see, so the extract connection, what it does, so extract connection will take a snapshot of the data source and it will save a temporary file in Tableau data engine, okay, in the form of in till the versions, right? We have the versions till 10.5. This is saving in .tde format, okay, .tde format till 10.5. From the version 2018, it started naming as .hyper, the file extension. Okay, so till from 2018, it is saved as .hyper. So So that's the thing. So till 10.5 the extension was .tde and currently the extension is .hyper. So if someone asks you what is the difference between .tde and .hyper, so your answer is, so when you connect to the extract connection, the Tableau will take the Tableau will take the snapshot of the data source and it will save it in a temporary file. Till 10.5 it was saving with the extension as .tde, but from 2018 it is saving as .hyper. Okay, so that is a version upgrade. So next, when to use live connection and when to use extract connection. All right, so you have two options, very good, but you should know when to use it, right? So if you are using live connection in the place of extract connection, then you will not have the proper visualizations to be created, right? So let's see what is the use case, when to use when to use extract. So live connection, if the data is changing very frequently, then we use the live connection, right? So for example, if you see in that example in the previous, so here your data is changing frequently, like today you have 100 records, tomorrow you have again adding another 150 records, and again day after tomorrow again you are adding another 10 records, again you are adding another 100 records. So every time your data is getting refreshed. In this case, if you are connected to extract connection, what happens? This temporary file, you have to save it every now and then, correct? Because every time the data is getting updated. Now time is 4:50, you have 100 records in your database. Okay, so now at 4:55, maybe in another 5 minutes, plus 10 records are added. What happens? If you are not connected to live connection, you need to take this 110 records again a snapshot. Okay, maybe at 5 o'clock, that means another next 5 minutes, you will add another 10 records. So what happens? Again you need to take a snapshot of this 120 records. So every time you need to take it when your data is changing frequently and if you are not connected to live connection. That's the reason it is important to understand when to connect live, when to connect extract. So if your data is changing very frequently, the suggested connection is live connection. So what happens? Let it be whatever the records is been adding. So you have 100 records. Okay, next 5 minutes again 10 records. Okay, next 5 minutes another 10 records. Okay, it is simple. It's a matter of just refresh, right? So you just refresh it, right click and refresh. So what happens? Your data will get refreshed and directly it will change. It will impact those all changes. Okay, so that's the reason when your data is changing very frequently, then you have to use the live connection. Okay, so if you see the extract connection, if the data is not changing frequently, then we can use the extract connection. So what does that mean? So today at 4:30 or 4:50 you have 100 records in your database, and maybe in a year also it will not change. What kind of data will see them? Okay, so if your data is not changing, it is constant, so the no new records are happening, the no deletion records are happening in your data. So in this case, what is the point of having live connection? Because when your data is not changing at all, no need of having a live communication path between the Tableau and the data source. You can simply ask to take this as a snapshot and to connect this to the Tableau, right? So what happens here? So today you have 100 records, tomorrow you have 100 records, after 1 month you have the same 100 records, after 1 year you have the same 100 records. Maybe within this year you may have 2-3 updates saying like 2-3 records have added or 2-3 records have removed. What you will do? Simply you will ask to refresh, right? That is not you are doing regularly, you are doing once in a while, right? So in that case you can go for the extract connection. So what kind of data that is? So for example, it all depends on the data that you work. So if you are working on the population related data, so population can be updating now and then, right? So population can be like every Second, people are taking birth and people are getting expired, right? So every now and then your data reports will get updated. So in that case, yes, you have to connect it to live connection. And weather reports. So if you're working on some weather reports, obviously your weather will be changing for very frequently. So in that case, you should have connected to live connection so that all the changes, whatever happens in your database, will get reflected directly into the Tableau. And even cricket reports, right? So when some cricketing when the match is happening, what happens? So every ball, the records will get updated in the database, right? What happens to that ball? Is it a single? Is it a dot ball? Is it a 6? Is it a 4? Is it a 2D? Right? So what happens? So every ball, and even the batsman. So how many balls he faced? Like 100 balls he faced and he scored 60 runs. And what happens for the 101 ball that he faced? That means your data is changing very frequently. Every ball is nothing but it takes only a second time, right? So within a second, your data is getting refreshed, your data is getting updated. So in such scenarios, you have to use live connection. So all your dashboard will get refreshed automatically with a single refresh button. No need to save it all the time. Okay. So that, and when it comes to the extract connection, what kind of data? So let's say employee data. So there is an employee data like employee ID, employee name, employee location, employee salary, employee designation. So this is the table you have. Okay. So do you see this changing very frequently? Will the employee ID changes every now and then? Or will the employee name will change every now and then? Or employee salary will change every now and then? That may change only maybe once in a year or twice in a year if he gets salary hike, right? And will the employee location will change very frequently? Maybe once or twice when he get transferred, right? Or maybe his designation change very frequently, like every month his designation will not change, right? So it may change again one or twice when he gets the promotion. So such standard data. If you take the student information, what is student information? Student name, student ID, school, and the class he is studying. Okay, this is the another table you have. So student ID will keep changing every now and then. Student name will get changed, or student course will get changed every now and then.
No.
Right? It may change only once in a year. Today, he is studying third class this year. That means he remains third class till the end of year. Right? Next year only he will change it to the fourth class. And even school names, he cannot change schools very frequently. Maybe situation demands like transfer kind of, he may go for another one more school, right? So what happens, that that record will get deleted when he discontinues or when he move to the other location. The record will get deleted. That will not happen very frequently for all the students, right? So one student. So likewise, when your data is not changing very frequently, then you can go for extract connection. Clear?
Yeah. So one question here. Suppose I'm traveling and I have to do some dashboard and deliver it by tomorrow or someday. Then before
you
leaving
are
my
you are
office,
going very advanced. You are going very advanced because we are not discussed the dashboards yet, and you are already going to the server, which is the last topic.
oh,
But still, I can answer you. Tell me.
no. What I was saying, like, so extract is the area. So in that case, once we take the snapshot and save in the our system, do we need the internet connection to work on that, or we can directly?
We'll see. So that's what I'm saying. You are much advanced.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see, so here it is there already. So the difference between the live connection and extract connection, right? So you should have 24/7 database to be out when you are having the live connection, because the live connection changes will have. See, that's what happens. See, now I have to ignore all this and I have to explain you the topic what you asked, right? So here you are connecting the extract connection. You need not to have high performance database, and you don't need internet connection for the extract. You can connect either offline or online. It's up to you, because the temporary file is saved it in local, right? But if you're connecting it to the direct, you should have internet connection. So that's why. So we'll discuss in detail. Okay.
Got it.
So let me go one by one because I
Sure.
cannot skip the topic, right? Yeah. So 1 second. What is that? Workspace connection. So here, if you want to explain the same thing, whatever we discussed, like when to use the live connection, when to use the extract connection, if you want to explain in the technical terms, you can see that OLTP, when you are working on online transaction process data, which can be changed very frequently, like share market, cricket, then you can go for live connection. That means, so when you are working on OLTP, online transaction process, then you can go for live connection. And when you are working on OLAP, that is online analytical process, which works on a historical data. That means no more further updates happens for this. Okay, it's a historical data, like taking 2017 sales data and analyzing what may be the sales for 2018, right? Or taking 2018, 19, 20 data and we are analyzing what can be the sales in 2021. So what happens here, we are taking the historical reference, right? The past data. So in that case, we can go for extract because past records cannot update anything, right? 2018, 19, 20 is already over. So you cannot add any new record, new sales record to that, right? That is a history already. So when you are working on some historical data, then you can go for extract connection. So OLAP and OLTP. So OLTP is online transactional process where you can go for live connection, and OLAP online analytical process, which is used historical data like as a past data reference, and in that case you can go for extract connection because no records will get updated there. Okay.
Okay.
So
Can we use historical data in live connection?
sorry.
I mean, can we use that sales data or historical data in live connection?
You can use it, but it
Recommended
is
to
something
use?
like it's a load kind of. So you can use anything. There is no restriction. So
Yeah.
even live connection like OLA, like even if your data is changing very frequently, you can still connect to the extract connection. But what is you need to do? Every time your data is getting updated, you have to take the snapshot every now and then, right? So the manual effort is been increasing. So instead of that, if you connect it to live, what happens? You no need to save that extract file again and again.
Yes.
So that is
No,
the thing. You can
I'm
connect
just
it.
okay. I'm just asking extract connection. Instead of that extract connection, can I use live connection?
Similarly, so even for historical data, you can connect it to the live connection. Anyhow, your live connection data will not get updated because it is historical data,
Okay.
right? So even if you are connecting live connection, what happens? The changes, whatever it is there in the live connection will already there in the Tableau. And since your database will not get updated, so your Tableau will not also not get updated anything, right?
Okay. Okay.
So that is only the difference. So what are the advantages, disadvantages, differences between this live connection and extract connection? So live connection, it will create a communication path, live communication path, we've seen that. And extract connection, it will take the snapshot and save the temporary file, right? So when we use OLTP data like online transactional process data, we use the live connection. And when we are working OLAP, online analytical process or historical data, we use the extract connection. So you should have 24/7 database to be up. That means when you are connecting the live connection, your database should be working all the time, 24/7. It should not go down. So when the database is going down, then your Tableau fetching data will be in trouble. So until it comes again the live. Okay. So until your database is coming to active mode, then your dashboards will not get refreshed. Okay. So 24/7 your data should be up. And in extract, need not to have high performance database because it's already a historical data. Nothing is going to update and it is saved already in your local file, temporary file. So even if you don't have high performance database, you can save it. So what happens? So for example, to explain that, so you have a data source, okay, which is working, and you have take already a snapshot. Then what happens to this data source doesn't bother or doesn't affect your Tableau, because you're not connected to the data source. You're connected to the temporary file, correct? So even this database is crashed, even this database is down, okay, what happens? You will not find any difficulty because you are not connected to data source here. You are connected to the snapshot file, which is saved in local temporary file, Tableau data extract or data engine, right? So, and if you are working on live connection, you should connect online only. You cannot do offline connection because there will be a live communication path. But here, like this answers your question, Mahesh. You can connect online or offline. So if you're connecting online, you can use even live connection and you can do that. Anyhow, your data will not get updated. So your dashboards also will not get updated there, right?
Okay.
And if you're connecting to offline, still fine because you already saved that snapshot in your local file. So even if you don't have the internet, you can work on it. So this answers your question, Vicky. So when you are traveling and if you're connected to extract connection, should you need internet connection? It is not required, okay, because you are connected to the local thing, okay. So here, how to identify? Already I told you this symbols. So if you are seeing one drum, it is live connection. If you are doing two drums, that is extract connection, right? I have already showed you here. So if you see two drums like this, that is extract connection. If you're seeing only one drum, that is live connection. That is the identification point.
So once we go from extract to live, again, we don't need to save any snapshot here. Only from live to extract.
Extract to live, no. Live to extract, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So what will be the size of the extraction of data to source? So actually it will reduce, okay. So what is reduces? Let's say your database is having 1 TB, okay. So 1 terabyte data you have it in your database. When you connect it to the live connection, what happens? Tableau will take all 1 TB data, right? Because it is a live connection. But in the extract connections, what happens? This 1 TB will get compressed when it is taken into the extract, right? So this will compress 12% of it. That means 120 GB. So 1 TB data is compressed. You know the zip file, right? What zip file does? It will compress it and reduce the size, right? Similarly, the Tableau.hyper, what it does? It will compress this 1 TB into 120 GB. That means 12% of the actual data source. So your reports will be fast, okay, because connecting to 1 TB and getting refresh and connecting to 120 GB and refreshing, it is much difference, okay. So it all matters of the performance. So Mahesh, to answer your question, you can connect historical data to live or live to historical. What happens is all will be hit on your performance. If you are okay to handle the performance issues, no problem. But when you have the huge data, this matters, okay, because every time you cannot keep refreshing.
Yes,
It will
yes.
take a lot of time. Now we have only 4 records, 5 records in our notepad, right? So here
Yes.
only ZPQ are only 4-5 records. It is very simple. It do not take even a second time. But when you have 10 million records, when you have 1 crore records or 10 crore
Okay.
records, so what happens?
Much
It will
data.
take time.
Okay.
And similarly, the other question, these all are the interview questions you can expect. Okay. So Tableau will compress 12% of the actual data source when you extract it. And which connection gives better performance? So live connection will give better performance because what happens here? So let's say today you have it 10 million records, okay, and you're connected it live. And the second scenario, you have the same 10 million records, okay, and you have taken this as an extract temporary file, and this you are connected to Tableau, correct? So understand these scenarios. So this is very important in interviews. So 10 million records, you are directly connecting it to the Tableau. So this is Tableau. Tomorrow there is only one record added plus one record. So 10 million plus one record. So what Tableau will does, just right click refresh. So it will get 10 million already was there, and only it will add one record. It will not refresh 10 million records because 10 million records are already there in Tableau, right? So only one record it will refresh. So to refresh one record, it will not take much time, right? Not even a second time it will take, right? But in the second scenario, you have 10 million records, you have taken the snapshot and you are connected to Tableau with 10 million records. And tomorrow what happens? The same thing happen, like one record is added here. So plus one, okay? So if you want to get this one record, you cannot do only one record refresh here because you have to remove this 10 million records file. Again, you have to take this refresh. That means this again, you have to take 10 million plus one record again. So all 10 million records also has to get refreshed, right? Because when you remove this, this will become 0, right? So it has to start again from the scratch. So in extract connection, what happens? So it will refresh all the records. Even for one record, it will refresh 10 million existing records also. Okay, you understood this?
Yes, understood.
Yeah.
So this is called full refresh. This is called full refresh. This is called incremental refresh. That means only whatever the values are incrementing. Today 1, maybe tomorrow only 2 records. So what happens? Only these 2 records will get refreshed. Maybe 10 records later. So only this 10 incremented records will get refreshed here. But here even one record, it has 10 million records has to come, and day after tomorrow maybe 2 records added. So what happens? Again you need to remove this. Again there should be one more temporary file to be created with 10 million plus 1 record plus 2 records. That means all this 10 million records has to get refreshed again. Okay, so that is the performance hit. So
Okay,
what
we
is
need to remove
incremental
the previous
refresh?
records.
Sorry?
We need to remove the previous records in extract
Huh.
connection
It will remove automatically. It is asking to
automatically.
replace, right? Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So it will remove it. We no need to do it manually. It will ask, when you are saving that new file, it will ask what to do with the old file. You want to replace, remove, so anything can happen, right? So here, if you see what is incremental refresh, refreshing only the newly added records, what we had seen just now, and that can happen only in the live connection. Okay, and what is full refresh? Refreshing the entire data source. Like even for one record, we are refreshing all 10 million existing records. That will happen in the extract connection. Okay. So people will ask you what is incremental refresh, what is full refresh. So you should know what is incremental refresh. Incremental refresh is refreshing only the newly added records, and that can be possible only in live connection. And what is full refresh? Full refresh is refreshing the entire data source, which can be possible in extract connection. Okay. So because of this incremental refresh feature, live connection will give the better performance because your refreshing load will be less. So that is about the connections. So any doubts? So next 10 minutes. So now did I answer your all questions, Vicky?
Yep.
Like whatever that you are having it in between, right? Okay. Good. So if you don't have any questions, we can wind up and I'll send you this information.
Sure.
So data connection types. Okay. So I'm sending you an email.